Hello and welcome to episode 49 of the NF Show, Prediction Time. I'm your host, Evan Campbell, and with me, as always, is the ever lovely Noah Ward.
Hello, everybody. I'm Noah.
Yes, I could have predicted you were going to join me this week, and we'll have plenty more predictions coming up. We're going to have our big prediction episode where we're going to talk about where we think the Metroid franchise may pop up next, and F-Zero, when Zelda may come out for Wii U. Will it be this week, or will it be this year? I just can't talk. My prediction is I'll have plenty more flubs on this episode. Will The Legend of Zelda come out this year or next? We'll put our predictions out there on the line, and then hopefully as the year goes by, you can hold us accountable. Let us know where we were right, where we were wrong, and that's always a fun thing to do. But first, NF Magazine is starting its year 3 subscription Kickstarter. It has now officially started. You can check it over on the NF Magazine Kickstarter page. The goal is $55,000 this year, so be sure if you want to get year 3, go over there to subscribe to NF Magazine. That is the digital or print, and then there's also some different tiers that you can subscribe to and pay for there. So we hope to see you back again for year 3. Now, before we get into what we're playing, Noah, there's actually been a rumor that's circulating and just started probably over the past 24 hours about the new Nintendo 3DS in North America. And I don't know if you've been keeping up to date, but did you see that in Europe there's an ambassador program for the new Nintendo 3DS?
Is there already?
Yes, Nintendo of Europe has been sending out select emails to Club Nintendo members, offering them the console with like a special limited edition. It's just the new 3DS, not the new 3DS XL, with special faceplates. Comes in white, the charging case and everything, for probably the standard price. I think it's like 180 or 200 euros.
Lucky those people.
Yes, so people think that the arrival of the new console is just on the horizon. There have been rumors about a Nintendo Direct happening and that there's some type of media event taking place this week. So everyone's hoping the stars align and we'll not only get a Nintendo Direct, but we'll also get the new 3DS. And I'll just say if it is February, which I could see it being, I think February 13th lands on a Friday this year. Friday the 13th. Wow. I will be a bit surprised. I figured it'd be more of a March release, but I could definitely see a February, get it out as soon as possible in North America and Europe, especially with the, I would call them almost aggressive sales targets Nintendo has for the handheld.
Yeah, they still do have some ground to make for on their forecasts for the the current fiscal year. I'm never quite sure when it overlaps a calendar year, if it's 2014 year or 2015, but I think it's 2014. But yeah, no later than March, I would assume. February, it's kind of, I'm not sure if it's because I want one, but not really anticipating it. But it's not surprising to me that it could be out in February. I wouldn't have been surprised if it had come out in January. But I guess what I was waiting for wasn't a surprise rumor leak, but a surprise Nintendo Direct that just happens to be found out the day of or the night before that there's going to be Nintendo Direct, and the date's announced, and it's just around the corner. Yeah, February or March, which is not far away at all. Definitely seems reasonable. It's definitely going to happen in the next month or two.
Yeah, I think we're going to get a new Nintendo Direct. All these news being thrown about. But I'm curious if we will get a Direct just for the new 3DS, just because Japan's already got it, and I feel like the heavy-hitting Directs feature Iwata, so I would think that they would have to have some additional information. Now, we still don't have a firm release date, I believe, for Kirby and the Rainbow Curse. We don't really know what's coming out afterward for Wii U there. 3DS, we have a little bit more info. For example, we know that Codename Steam, I believe, is coming out March 13th here in North America. So it'll be interesting to see them kind of fill in those question marks that we have right now. But it'd be nice to see the new 3DS and then how it's going to be presented just here in North America? Or is it going to be bundled up with Majora's Mask 3D, which we already saw is getting a limited edition? Could we see a combination where you could get the game with a new 3DS and maybe some faceplates? What about Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate, which is a game that actually takes advantage of the new 3DS, especially with the second, you can't call it a second circle pad, but they are calling it the C-Stick. So I'm really curious to see what the proposition is, especially from Nintendo of America, to get people like you and me, Noah, to upgrade once again, especially since we've already upgraded to the XLs. They're trying to get us for the third time, and I've always thought that yes, I will definitely get one, but lately I feel like because there haven't been big 3DS games, and I know that's going to change, I haven't found myself that excited to upgrade, just because I'm not playing the system as much lately.
It reminds me a little bit of when the DSi XL came out, and almost when the DSi came out. I feel like 3DS is heading into its final years. It's about time that maybe it could be replaced soon, and the amount of time that I could get with this new model, this new investment, may actually be even smaller than before. And so with that in mind, I'm a little hesitant as well. It's really incredibly cool as the system looks, and knowing that it has a little bit more processing power, and it has the C-Stick on there, and the smaller version has interchangeable faceplates, which I love.
Yeah.
But I don't know what else is coming out. I mean, we've had a couple Mario games. We've had a Zelda game come out. There could be another Zelda game around the corner. There could be something else. I feel like I'm starting to name drop all sorts of things that will come up in our in our prediction segment. So there are things that could come out, but I don't know if it's a great investment other than from the collector standpoint. And I have certainly been guilty of buying multiple Game Boy Advances, multiple Nintendo DSs, and I'm trying to stop doing that. Purchasing these things for the sake of just purchasing them. We shall see how strong my willpower is.
Well, let's not worry about what we may possibly be playing here in the next month or two, and instead talk about what we're playing currently. You've finally gotten in some more time with Mario Kart 8 and Super Smash Bros. For Wii U, right?
Yeah, that's right. I actually had a fun gaming lunch, which I'm starting to wonder if lunch during the middle of the workday is going to be my prime time to play video games. But I was able to have a friend over who at first wanted to play a different game on a different system that shall remain unnamed. But then I said, we could play Smash Brothers, and we could play Mario Kart. And he hadn't even played Mario Kart 8 before.
Oh, cool.
He said to me, he's like, yeah, I don't know how it's going to compare to Mario Kart in the 64. I'm like, you're looking like 15 years in the past. What the heck? I don't know why you even made that reference. And he's younger than me, so it was just really strange. I said, this is a really good one. It's a really good Mario Kart. And he did get first place in we did a Grand Prix of the Star Cup, and he did get first place in one of the races. And then not as high in some of the other ones, but Peach proved formidable. But my Roy ultimately came out on top by a narrow sliver of three stars, I guess. I don't know, 3 points. And then we played just round after round after round after round of Smash Brothers, and unlocked another character, and that was a totally different experience for my buddy, who did very well and came out in first several times. And I had my amiibo army. We did 8-player Smash, and I scanned in all 5 of my amiibos, who are now in the low 30s. Well, they started at the high 20s, but now they're in the low to mid 30s range. It was 5 amiibos, me and my buddy, and then a random level 3 computer character, which was just fodder for all of us. But yeah, my buddy was doing really well, and I was like, I'll try this character. I haven't played this one yet still, and I came in an 8th a couple times, and that's really embarrassing, because if you've played 8-player Smash, when you're an 8th, at least on my TV screen, you're almost barely not even included on the screen. Your character is like half cut off. And it just really emphasizes how much of a loser you were in that case. But there were some awesome matches, particularly on the Yoshi map, where you have that hill over on the right-hand side that you can blast people off, and it's all very closed and confined. And there were multiple times where it's like, it's like 4 or 5 people just boom exploded at once off the side, then like 4 or 5 people over onto the left, and it was like this incredible fireworks of death, I guess. But it was really cool. I really like 8-player Smash just because it's so chaotic, but I don't like, even on my TV, which is, it's a decent size. It's like 46 inches. It's sometimes when it's zoomed out, I have no idea what's going on. The finesse, the strategy of like, oh, I'm gonna go target that character, and I think I'm close enough to connect. So let's swing the stick and hit the button to do a smash attack, and it's just more like mash on the button, but still really fun.
So was Smash the bigger success then for your multiplayer playdate, as I'll call it?
He actually really liked Mario Kart. He's like, this is cool. I really like this. This is awesome. So I think he was really impressed with it overall. But for me, whenever I have a friend over, I just want to maximize. And let's play this. You want to play this? You want to play this? You want to play this? Because it's not too often I get to have local multiplayer, which is so much fun. And so as soon as we got through 4, and that included doing slow-mo replays of highlights after each race, it was like, I got to change, got to play Smash Brothers. And so I put in Smash Brothers, and I think he would go back and play it. He didn't say like, yeah, it doesn't compare good to the 64 version. I think he actually found it really well done.
That's really awesome. I'm glad you had so much fun, and it's awesome that you played 8-player Smash. That's something I haven't done yet. I don't have an amiibo army. I've just got Samus. We stick together.
But you could put in like 6 randoms in your Samus.
Yeah, I need to play more Smash. I don't know what's wrong with me. I haven't been. I don't know if
that's your problem.
Yeah, I've had other things going on, and I did though start the fall tonight, and almost decided, and it may have been because of this podcast, but I was like, you know what, I want to play the fall. I finished up A World of Keflings over last week, and you can find my review in the upcoming issue of NF Magazine, which has, talking about Kirby and the Rainbow Curse, an awesome cover art, claymation type cover art that you can look forward to. But I started the fall because I heard so many good things, and people were bringing up on their best of 2014 end of the year list. And it is, people talk about atmospheric. I feel like that gets thrown around a lot when describing games or whatever, but this game nails that more so than many games I can remember. You're basically a person in a spacesuit that has an AI intellect on board inside the suit. And it just starts off with you careening down and crashing on this alien planet. And it's just got this very dark and foreboding atmosphere that just, it makes you feel uncomfortable. It's almost like Super Metroid, and I wouldn't be surprised if they're trying to evoke that. I feel like whenever someone says atmospheric, obviously Super Metroid, I think, stands at the top of the list, or something you immediately kind of link to. But it makes you feel uncomfortable, and it makes you feel like something's not right. And this presentation is just great. They nail it from the get-go. You boot up the game, and it's got like execution's not executive, like
programming
computer
code?
Yes, thank you. Thank you for saving me. Yes, it's got the computer code. It's got, you're seeing this game, even though it's like a 2D presentation, it's kind of a puzzle game, and I have just found some action before I jumped on here. But like when you get injured in the game, it'll start showing like the visor like shattering from your mask, like around the screen and everything that's on like the peripherals. There's just these really small touches, even though this isn't like some technical showpiece, that just really make you feel more part of the fall and kind of become a little more invested. And I really like those kind of small touches that just bring everything together. And my first impression is very strong. I think that you being someone, and I don't want to make a draw direct parallels to this, but I know that you're a big fan of Stick It to the Man, which is kind of like an old school puzzle game, and that obviously has a bunch of humor, but this is kind of the same thing. 2D puzzle game. You can interact. You're not picking up like a ton of items where you got to create at least so far, I'm probably about 45 minutes to an hour in. You're just picking up one or two items here or there and kind of figuring out how you'll utilize them in the environment. I've only been stuck about once, and it's because I just wasn't thinking clear enough. And I knew it was going to happen too. Do you ever get stuck in games and you're like, I'm sure the solution is so obvious and right in front of my face, and you just are like knocking your head into a wall though, trying to figure it out?
Yeah, I feel like that's the complete territory of adventure games in general. They're full of stuff like that. I mean, Professor Layton even has that, and so does Phoenix Wright.
Yeah. So I've already gotten that, and I didn't get too frustrated, but the last part I played, because I honestly didn't know much. I just read that the story is excellent for this game. I'm kind of going in this with a blindfold on. I didn't read up too much about it, and I was like, oh, it's just an adventure game. But there is some action. You do get access to a weapon early on, and you have like these shootouts, which are really cool, and the music kind of gets a little more upbeat and everything. So I was kind of doing those, but the one thing that I will say, the kind of my criticism so far is I did pause the game at one point because I was answering a text, and I hit the home button because usually I just hit the home button for some reason on top of pressing pause with Wii U games. I don't know why exactly. It's just kind of a habit for me, but it froze up the game. So I had to do a hard reboot of the system, which was unfortunate. But it has automatic saving, so I didn't go too far back in a checkpoint or anything. But I'm really excited to get back and start playing. Hopefully I'll have more impressions. But my immediate reaction for you, Noah, is I think you would like it.
Yeah, I really like this spooky premise that your life support for a body inside of a suit that the life support program is trying to save. So it's kind of like this weird artificial intelligence zombie game where you're controlling a zombie via some, I mean, if you want to get really dark about it, it's like you're this parasitic AI program that's trying to revive its host. But it's not like that. You are an artificial intelligence life support program that's trying to get the person inside the suit to safety, but it could be kind of creepy twisted when you think about it.
Oh, but it's definitely creepy, and I don't know what the age rating is. There an age rating because it's an eShop game? I know that can
eShop games have ratings. Mm-hmm.
Well, definitely I wouldn't recommend this for someone super young. I would think that you'd want to be somewhat of edge. It's unsettling, it's creepy. You come upon something that's, I don't want to say disturbing because it's not like a horror game, or at least not yet. But it is unsettling. There is some, it can be unsettling and creepy. I guess creepy is probably the best way to describe it. But yes, I'm glad that you brought up the premise. It's the AI that's part of the suit that is your person. I don't think they say unconscious, but you're not able to kind of move on your own. So the AI is trying to rescue you. And you may or may not find other people in suits like that or other type of life as you explore this planet and everything. And I've just heard that the ending of this game is fantastic. So I'm so curious to see how this kind of ties up and where it leads and everything. And yeah, I can't wait to play more. So it's going to be exciting to see what kind of story they tell as I proceed. And it's a short game. I love little short games. I love having these 2 to 3 hour experiences. Sometimes I'm overwhelmed and games are like, 60 hours, and people are like, yeah, and I'm just like, oh man, I will never ever finish that. Yeah, so I will report back more.
All right,
next week.
I look forward to it.
Let's forget the present now. I'm just gonna go back and forth, and let's look to the future. Let's talk about these huge sprawling games like Legend of Zelda and Xenoblade Chronicles X that are coming up. And let's get to our predictions.
Yeah.
Just a heads up, we're not going to have every single game that maybe Nintendo's announced or everything across the Wii U and 3DS. We're just going to hit some of the biggest heavy hitters and then throw in some wild theories that we may have to make things even more exciting. And also, These are what we think. We would love to hear what you out there think. Be sure to email us at show@nfmagazine.com or leave a comment over on YouTube. But with that, let's get started. And let's start with Nintendo's home console, Noah.
Okay.
We've talked about this previously. I've talked about this with John. It's a Zelda game. Will it come out on time? Will it not? We've heard Nintendo. It's coming 2015. Do you believe that? Will we see Zelda on Wii U this year, or will it be delayed until next year?
That's a good question. I heard your and Don's discussion on it and Don's justification that just because the producer being who he was, every date that he's ever claimed that's happened, it's always been on time, therefore the game will come out on time. Which, that's pretty reasonable logic, I guess. I don't know, I just keep going back to Skyward Sword, which it almost seemed like it was done. It almost seemed like it was ready, and then it was delayed. And we just found out details about this Zelda game pretty recently in the grand scheme of things. Looking at it from a dinosaur point of view, and I would not be surprised if it were delayed, but Nintendo has been making a big deal about emphasizing that both Zelda and Star Fox are supposed to come out this year. So getting back to Zelda, and knowing that Nintendo has not announced anything else for its holiday game for 2015, Zelda would make a perfect 2015 holiday game, and nothing else would need to really come out on Wii U. I feel like it could be pretty good. Well, maybe something with broader appeal. I know that Zelda doesn't sell like gangbusters in Japan every time, but I'm going to say, I want to say that it's going to be delayed, but that sounds so cynical, so I'm going to say it's going to come out.
I'm the opposite side. I'm going to say delayed. I've lived through enough Zelda games and seen them delay time after time. Enough of Zelda Wii U. Even the footage they showed back in December, it was very minimalist in the combat they showcased. I'm going to say no, 2016. I think Animal Crossing for Wii U with a bunch of amiibo support could be their big holiday title that fills in that role for this season. Plus you have Star Fox, which I think the earliest that could come out is possibly August, and that could get pushed back. So I think Zelda, they want it to come out this year. I hope that I'm surprised, but I believe that it will be 2016 when we see The Legend of Zelda Wii U. Now, another title that was actually first revealed for us, Noah, almost exactly 2 years ago at that infamous Nintendo. Infamous is kind of a little too cynical, but we learned a lot about that just kind of huge Nintendo Wii U January 2013 Direct. Xenoblade Chronicles X was showcased. We saw gameplay footage of it, kind of the exact opposite here of The Legend of Zelda Wii U. We got to see some of the game. We heard the awesome score. We learned about who was developing the game. We haven't gotten a solid release date for that. Now, it's coming out in 2015 in Japan, but we have to remember this is a huge RPG. Do you think it will come out here this year in the West, including Europe and North America?
I think we've talked about this before, and I believe you've made predictions about the game coming out. It wasn't supposed to come out last year for you?
I thought them unveiling it with gameplay footage in January 2013. I didn't think we'd be sitting here 2 years later. I thought we might be playing it. At the very worst, I thought we'd at least have a release date for it. But alas, why I wanted to say infamous is we don't know either. We're not playing it. We don't have a release date.
See, and this also could be a major holiday 2015 title, or it could be a great space filler for summer earlier in the year. The previous Xeno game had a much longer localization time period because at first Nintendo didn't plan on taking it anywhere outside of Japan, and I have to believe, we know for sure this game is coming. It's going to be released outside of Japan, and so therefore, hopefully, the localization for international territories other than Japan was moved up earlier and it was started earlier, and they know who they're going to be working with from a cast perspective. Maybe they'll use some of the same talent. So there shouldn't be as big of a gap, but I think there still will be a gap. I don't think this is going to be a worldwide launch for the game. And therefore, I think it is going to be 2016. What do you say, Evan?
I think 2015. This is a game, I know the localization can take forever and a day, but this is a game that we actually know. I think the development team has even said, like, we're in the final stages of development. I think we're going to see it here in 2015. I think it has a much better shot at actually hitting this year's date as compared to Zelda. Now, the next game, I don't think we're going to be debating whether it's coming out this year, and that's Mario Maker, but it's when do you think would be the right time for Nintendo to kind of put this game out there? And that is Mario Maker.
I would say like June, probably. It feels like a summertime game between June and August. So I guess that makes it Q2, Q3-ish for 2015.
I'm going May. We've seen Super Mario Galaxy 2 launch in May. I feel like May is usually a big month for Nintendo. I think it'd be a great title to have to kind of get the summer started for them. So, and we saw Nintendo last year. May 30th was Mario Kart 8. May is usually a pretty big month for the company and everything. I think nothing would be better than that. The only reason I could see it maybe not hitting May is if Splatoon was their big push for the summer. And I think May would be great for Splatoon 2 as we head into the summer months, having this game that kind of looks like you're out there playing with water guns and everything, getting people ready for the summer, especially kind of targeting the younger audience and everything. I think the Mario Maker Splatoon could be an April, May, or maybe both in May or May, June, 1-2 punch to get things going this year for the Wii U.
Well, I'm glad you brought up Splatoon because it is definitely one of my most anticipated games of 2015 of all time. Doesn't matter what games are coming out, this is definitely high on my list, Splatoon. And I think it's actually going to come out in the Easter time frame, which would be probably about April. Maybe not as early as March, but April seems okay. Last year, if you would have asked me, I would have thought that Splatoon was coming out much later. But it seems the vibe that I get from everything that we've seen and heard is that it's coming out much earlier this year. And maybe that's just wishful thinking, but April's going to be my pick.
Do you think it'll have voice chat?
Nope. That would have to come out in, like, I don't know, 2017 probably.
I am going to be the optimistic one here. We're going to switch sides, and I'm going to say it is going to have voice chat, and its online functionality will be better than that of Mario Kart 8. Not just, now, don't get me wrong, Mario Kart 8 works really well when you get connected up, but the social functionality of the game, it'll be kind of seen as a huge step forward for Nintendo. I think this is a younger team developing it. I think they understand when you have a squad-based multiplayer game, you have to have these communication tools. So I think it's going to happen, and I just got to believe. I got to believe. I got to hold on to
eventually, some game is going to have it. But will it be on the Wii U or the successor to the Wii U?
Don't get
started.
Now let's go back in time before we go forward in time once again here, Noah. Back to January 2013, we also got our first look at Yoshi's Woolly World. And guess what? It's in the same territory as Xenoblade Chronicles X. We're not playing it, and we don't know when it could be coming out. What do you think?
Wasn't it supposed to be a Q1, Q2 game for 2015?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so
March,
yeah.
Lousy March weather. Yes. Yeah, I'm with you. I think it'd be a perfect March. Nintendo likes to release platformers in March. I think Yoshi's New Island came out last year in March for the 3DS. Why not just lay another egg?
But when will the amiibo come out? That's almost more important to me at this point. When are non-Smash amiibos going to be coming out? in the middle of the whole Smash Amiibo release cycle. It's maybe, I don't know.
I could see, they haven't talked about it, and I don't know how you do it, but Mario Maker wouldn't be a bad idea, having just kind of a straight Mario line with Bowser. And if you've got, did they say they have, I don't think they said they have Super Mario 2, but you could have kind of the characters from those games possibly. I'm guessing their next line will be smaller, so I'm not sure. Yoshi's Woolly World, I don't think will get its own game. I told you, I think Animal Crossing might be cool to see Splatoon, but those are characters that no one knows, so you've already got an uphill battle there. So there's a lot going on, but I think it's Animal Crossing, and I guess I'm going to give myself kind of an out here. Animal Crossing for Wii U will not only debut this year, but it will come out in one territory, and that would be Japan. But I could see it being a holiday title in Japan if Zelda's target, and then I could see it being kind of a March-May title of 2016 for Wii U here in North America. But I really think that Animal Crossing is going to be the big amiibo game for Wii U that we'll next see, where we have this huge amount, waves of characters and stuff, kind of equivalent to Super Smash Bros. And not a smaller line that I was previously discussing.
You know what would be really cool on the topic of Mario Maker would be a 2 or 3 figure pack that actually has an original Super Mario Brothers Mario amiibo, and then a Super Mario World amiibo, and then some other iteration of Mario. So you'd have like this across time different amiibo versions of Mario. I don't know what functional use that would benefit, but the collector in me thinks that sounds really awesome.
Yeah. So what are you thinking, though, for Animal Crossing? Don't avoid the topic at hand.
I can't keep up with you in this outline. In case you're wondering, people out there in the audience, I decided that I was going to start taking notes as to what we're actually saying, because we're kind of doing this from the heart. We didn't want to spoil our predictions for each other and then unduly influence what the other was going to say. So we have on the record written proof of what we said, so we can come back and reference this month after month in 2015. And Animal Crossing is later in the outline, and that's my excuse. Animal Crossing, I think, is coming out this holiday, and let's say that it's going to be maybe August for Japan and November, December for North America. And it's a holiday title. Just because we've lived this experience before, why not do it again? You remember when Wii Music came out? Mm-hmm.
I think October 2008. Wasn't like that the year that Nintendo's... Maybe it was 2009. I just remember that their big holiday titles were Wii Music and Animal Crossing City Folk. And people were just beside themselves. And not with anticipation or excitement, beside themselves with anger and frustration. We're not too excited. And then Nintendo came back and was incredible. It was GoldenEye remake. It was Kirby's Epic Yarn. It was Donkey Kong Country Returns. Stuff like that. So
yeah, it was good. Good year.
Hopefully we'll see that this year. Even though we got Smash in 2014, which is a huge holiday title, maybe we'll just see an onslaught of games. And the last one we'll talk about that we know is coming out this year is Star Fox, which I'm pegging for an August-type release, August, September.
I would like it to come out in tandem almost with E3 and be June or even July, but I kind of agree with you that it's probably they're rushing to get this out, or it's incredibly simplistic. I don't know what the answer is. It feels like last year it was so half-baked, so conceptual. For them to have a fully finished game that's polished with a Nintendo quality and fun factor to come out within this calendar year seems incredibly ambitious and atypical for Nintendo, who likes to perfect, really put a perfectionist's touch on its games. So I'm going to say September or October, a little bit later, as much time as they can get without stomping on the holiday titles, which, who knows? We saw Captain Toad come out in the same window as the holiday titles. I mean, I guess it was a holiday title, and I didn't think that would happen. Maybe Star Fox will get the same treatment, and it won't happen until November or December. But I want it to be earlier, so I'll say September, October.
I just can't get excited for Star Fox by what Miyamoto's shown and how he's talked about the game. It's just everything I don't want. I worry it's going to be slow. I worry that it's going to be like if I have to actually move the gamepad and can't just use the right stick or whatever, or if it's one of my biggest frustrations with Captain Toad is the fact that you can't just kind of why can't I think about the name of the functionality? You use the right stick at the same time the tracking functionality the gamepad's on. So you can screw up the camera just by kind of tilting the gamepad. And I don't know why that hasn't been fixed in Captain Toad yet, and I worry that it's going to be the thing with Star Fox. So I love Star Fox 64. I think it's a great franchise. For the life of me, I am worried that game is going to crash and burn. Just nothing how they talk about it has me excited. And hopefully Miyamoto, he's proven me wrong in the past. Hopefully he'll prove me wrong once again. Retro Game Studios has never let me down, though, Noah. Never. Even when I'm not excited about a Donkey Kong Country game, they just knock it out of the park and blow me away. Do you think there are two teams at Retro? Do you think we could see another game this year, or do you think they're only a one-game team and it's going to be a couple more years?
I think your darkest fears are true. One-game team. It'll be another 2 years before we see Donkey Kong 3.
I don't think we're going to see a Donkey Kong 3. I don't think Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, it paled in, not quality-wise, I think it was better than Returns, but I think sales-wise, it just didn't light the world on fire anywhere near Returns. So I think Retro will be working on something different. Maybe they're going back to Metroid Prime 4. Fingers crossed it's something new, but I don't think we'll hear or see anything from them this year. The team that I do think we'll see something from, and this may be a 3DS title, but I want to throw it in here because they're the other big Western development team that's kind of with Nintendo, even though they're not a part of Nintendo like Retro, is Next Level Games. I do think we're going to see what Next Level Games is cooking up this year. I'm going to say that they're sticking to 3DS, even though I'd love to see what they have to do on Wii U, and I'm just really excited. I think we'll see it this year. I think it'll release this year.
That would be satisfactory.
And to kind of just top off the Wii U, we'll get into it. We've talked about it a bit with the 3DS, but how much time is left for Nintendo's home console?
I think that we're in the... I think we definitely see the Wii U successor no later than next year and possibly as soon as this year, but it doesn't come out until 2016.
I don't think we'll see or hear anything about the Wii U successor this year, but I think if you're a Wii U owner, this is the last big year. If you notice, Nintendo isn't announcing any more titles way out there in the future. They're sticking to games that they've kind of already announced. I think they're going to deliver their promise, save perhaps Shin Megami Tensei Crossfire Emblem, because that game has just disappeared since we heard about it 2 years ago. But yes, I think we could see, and I don't know if it's the hybrid console that I've kind of wanted or what, but I think the Wii U will be replaced in some shape or form 2016, the second half of 2016. I think this is the last big year for Wii U. Next year will kind of just be a trickle of games or whatever. So we should really enjoy 2015. Now let's get into 3DS. We've already talked about when North America and Europe will get the new 3DS. We both believe possibly that February 13th date, which would be awesome, or March at the latest, but we're going to see it within the next 2 months. The question is, even though we know a lot about games coming out for 3DS with Codename Steam and Majora's Mask 3D, what could be the big holiday titles for the 3DS this year, especially since this will be, I believe, its 5th holiday season out there on the market?
Man, it is hard to believe that the system has been around that long. It feels still kind of new and novel to me. But on the other hand, I haven't been really anticipating or getting many new games for the system. It was almost kind of front-loaded. I say that loosely. In the second year, or late in the first year of the system's lifespan, that I was really into it. Now, not so much, other than an interest in the new model that's coming up. So, that said, the well never runs dry, so I'm going to guess Pokemon Z will be the big holiday title.
Yeah, but Pokemon's become an annualized franchise. I think we're going to see either Pokemon Z or possibly the next big Pokemon thing. But Pokemon Z, I feel like, would make the most sense for them. In addition to that, I am going to make my biggest prediction of the show and say that we're going to see either Super Mario 3D Land 2 or the next Super Mario game from EAD Tokyo for the holiday season on the 3DS. And I think it won't be exclusive to the new 3DS, but it'll have some type of functionality with that system.
That would be pretty cool. I'm surprised how they've been able to juggle creating a game for the handheld as well as working on big, huge console Mario games. It's definitely within their ability. And as much as I don't really love Mario being annualized, I still get all the games, and I will probably get that one too if another one comes out this year.
Well, what could kind of ruin our predictions, and not that it would be a bad thing, is that a big holiday title for 3DS is Amiibo specific. The next Amiibo big lineup won't be for a Wii U game, whether that's Animal Crossing or something we haven't heard of, but some 3DS game. Now that said, it could be Pokemon Z with Amiibo support, which would be pretty huge. But do you think there's some kind of other game that's Amiibo specific 3DS planned for this year?
Well, it's something that I've repeatedly requested and hoped for and thought that Amiibo's success would be reliant upon is something that truly tied the figurines in the same way that Skylanders and Disney Infinity do with theirs. I hadn't thought about that. That would be a great way to move new 3DSs because they won't require the external adapter to scan your Amiibo in. All you have to do is just put it on the system. And maybe the system will require a little bit more horsepower to play this Amiibo game. I mean, everything you described does sound like a perfect storm, but can Nintendo do something with a new franchise or a sequel even, or will they take that concept of really selling Amiibo with a 3DS and harnessing it to an existing, proven, really popular franchise like Pokemon? I think so. I think it's a Pokemon game with Amiibo tied in because we already have Animal Crossing on 3DS.
Yeah, and maybe it's not a Pokemon Z game. Maybe it's some type of new Pokemon IP that's not Pokemon Rumble, but familiar, that's tied into collecting Amiibo and everything, and kind of gives them a break from that traditional RPG that has been annualized, basically. I mean, we've gotten Alpha Sapphire and Omega Ruby last year. The year before that, we got X and Y. I believe the year before that, we got Black and White 2. So, I mean, Pokemon is an annualized franchise in the mainline series, but maybe we'll see kind of a side story or something that's really tied into Amiibos that'll be really cool. So it'll be exciting to see that. The next prediction I think Noah came up with, because I say that there's a redesign every year of the 3DS, and that has been true. Last year I was saved by the new 3DS in Japan and Australia. Just when I kind of given up hope, it happened, and now we're getting it. What could it be for this year's model redesign? And I will say, I feel like they're in that weird territory where we actually won't see a redesign, which I'll probably be wrong. I finally am saying no redesign after being right, but I think we're going to see the next handheld or hybrid next year, so there won't be a redesign for this year of the 3DS. We're going to see a new console early next year. Not coming out, but we'll start to get rumblings and hear about it and everything.
So you think it'll be kind of like how the new Nintendo 3DS happened, where we all found out about it around the world last year, but we didn't all necessarily get it that year. Some of us are getting it this year instead, and so we will see the successor to the 3DS this year, probably
no.
teased, and then it's released next year.
I think we're not going to see anything. We'll see something in 2016, but because of the successor, we're not going to get a redesign of the 3DS this year. Although, who knows? I think they could do extra battery life. They could do small things, but I do not think there will be a redesign this year. I think the next redesign will be a brand new console, and we'll hear about that in 2016.
But doesn't that mean that your theory that there's always something that comes out every single year is now broken?
Yeah, it would be broken.
Wow. How do you feel about that, Evan? I'm kind of more interested in that than any predictions now.
Oh, I'm fine with that. I think that I would be more likely to say that it would continue. And I guess, you know what, there could always be maybe just a Japan exclusive redesign, kind of like the 2DS was a Europe and North America exclusive redesign, since the handheld's so much more successful there. Maybe they just do better battery life or something else to make it, to get people to double dip again. But I think in North America, we're gonna see something in 2016 come out. A handheld, possibly the handheld hybrid console. And because the new 3DS didn't come out in time for the holiday season, this is kind of Nintendo's last foray for North America and Europe with the new 3DS. I don't think they're going to do anything redesign-wise again.
I agree with you in that there won't. I would like to think this new 3DS with all of its whiz-bang new features and cool design elements would get a little bit more time on the market before being summarily replaced or enhanced or extended just months later, not even a year later. So, as I said last year, I don't think there will be a redesign this year. And technically, there wasn't a redesign last year, only for Japan. There wasn't for North America.
And Australia, half the world, that counts.
The other hemisphere of the world notwithstanding, I think there's going to be no redesign, and that we'll see the successor to 3DS next year because Nintendo can't wait any longer for that one.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting. Now let's talk really quickly about two, what you could call forgotten franchises at this point. Whether we'll see a Metroid or F-Zero. I think a Metroid is definitely more likely. I think that it could be a possible 3DS game for this year. I'd say that I'll give it a 50-50. I'm not too optimistic. F-Zero, I don't think we're going to see F-Zero, unfortunately. And what frustrates me about F-Zero, and I think that Miyamoto recently said that we need some kind of new controller input for F-Zero or whatever. And Mario Kart 8's kind of taken the F-Zero torch. I mean, they threw in a level, and they threw in the Blue Falcon and everything, which
anti-gravity racetracks.
But F-Zero is just a game that's built on precision controls and speed. I feel like those... I'm not a game designer, and I'm by no means someone that can stand up with Miyamoto's expertise, but this is a game that doesn't need some gimmicky control thing. And I rarely use gimmicky towards Nintendo because I think they're good about things. But hearing that just frustrates me. F-Zero should just be an awesome downloadable game that just gets to what the series is good at. Precision controls, speed, awesome futuristic racing with good online. I don't think we're going to see it, but I would love to eventually see that someday.
And I am right there with you. I felt that was kind of a cop-out. And Nintendo certainly isn't afraid to revisit a franchise regardless of control schemes. I think that the Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze and Donkey Kong Country Returns, that's perfect examples of games that are pretty much straight-up sequels to their predecessors, and it doesn't matter really what the requirements or the controls are. Granted, with the Wii, you had to do that really obnoxious remote shaking to make Donkey Kong slam the ground, and that was far from novel or even necessary. And that was also after Donkey Kong went through a lot of other awkward experiences in other games. But F-Zero doesn't need it. It really doesn't. A lot of people in the comment sections when I looked at the stories about this posted elsewhere on the internet said, just do an HD re-release of GX for Pete's sake. That would even be satisfying. But unfortunately, F-Zero is not a big seller, and Miyamoto feels like he has to come up with a really novel gameplay twist, and it's challenging to do that in racers.
Yeah.
The twist of F-Zero was that it was hovercrafts and it was futuristic. And now that game's had a couple sequels, how do you make that different? I mean, it was a big deal to bring that kind of concept into Mario Kart, but there isn't necessarily an easy solution or clear twist that you could potentially do with F-Zero without getting a little bit more abstract. And I think that since Miyamoto can't do that, he goes back to his regular routine of like, oh, well, maybe a new controller, I'll get an idea for what the twist should be to F-Zero. But racing games are pure and arcade in their essence, and they're completely satisfying, even if they're seemingly by the numbers. I wish Nintendo would just put it out there. Put Retro on it. Make Retro make the F-Zero game if they don't want to do it. But yeah, I don't think we're going to see F-Zero at all because of that comment. And I think Metroid, we will see a sequel timed to go with the launch of the new handheld next year.
Yeah. One thing I'll say about the F-Zero and our frustrations, and I'm not even the biggest F-Zero fan, if Miyamoto blows me out of the water with Star Fox with this new control scheme that I also think is a terrible idea, and I'm someone who likes the Wii U gamepad, but everything they've shown, I do not want to be standing up playing this aerial combat game, standing up, moving my Wii U gamepad. And I'm someone who likes motion controls.
You like Steel Diver.
I like Red Steel 2, all of these games and stuff, and I dislike those ideas. But if somehow that just captivates me, I will eat crow and be super excited for whatever idea he has. So it'll be really interesting to see how that plays out over this year. Mm-hmm. And with that, that will wrap up our predictions. I know that we didn't talk about plenty of games that are already announced, like Devil's Third, which Noah and I are both excited about. I think it will come out this year. When? I'm not going to predict that. It's not on my notes. I don't have to do I don't have to do anything. But yes, there are plenty of things that we didn't talk about, but time concerns, we're already running overboard, but it's been a blast. Thank you so much for listening to our predictions. Once again, you can write in your predictions for 2015 in Nintendo. And if you feel like doing 2016 like we did as well, feel free to share those. Email us at show@nfmagazine.com or leave us a comment on YouTube. And with that, let's get into the feedback from last week. I'll let Noah take over.
All right. So first we have an email from Adolf who wrote, "Hey guys, I wanted to share with you a few quick stories related to his holiday experiences. My whole family used Amazon wishlist for gifts this Christmas, and nobody bought me an Amiibo, even though I had a few common ones on my wish list. My mom bought me Tamagotchi Life, though, and a President Obama White Sox limited edition statue. Strange, I know." For New Year's Eve, I went to my mother-in-law's house and brought the Wii U to play. We played Duck Hunt. I have a gun shell with 2 players, which is very fun. The second player controls the ducks movement, which I had no idea was a feature until last year. Playing 5-player Nintendo Land is a blast, especially the Luigi's Mansion level. We didn't play Smash because I wanted to make sure the older family members would play too, and Smash can be intimidating for casual gamers. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed my little holiday stories, and I have one quick question. What editing software do you guys use for the audio podcasts? I'm just curious, Adolf. Well, I can answer that question for you. I use a combination of Audacity, which is a free-to-download audio editing program that's very popular for podcasters out there, as well as Reaper. It's a really great, very heavy-duty little piece of audio editing software that can do a lot of stuff that more expensive software out there does for a cheaper price. And what's cool about Reaper is you can actually download a trial version and give it a spin if you want to get into fancy audio editing adventures like I do every week for this show. Evan, any comments, follow-ups?
I was just going to say thank you so much, Adolf, for sharing your awesome holiday season multiplayer sessions. It's really cool to hear about playing with your family and stuff. And I know the Luigi's Mansion, I have been able to play that with 3 to 4 people in the past, and it is a blast.
Yeah, It's total chaos when the house starts collapsing, and then it builds back up, and some floors you can't go through, some you can. It's a great design. Love it. Richard is our next email. He wrote in, I just wanted to say I really enjoyed the year of awesome NF magazines. I'm definitely going to be a backer again for the third year.
Yay!
Just remember, everybody, Kickstarter, that's where you go for that. Richard continues, I'm looking forward to your best of 2014 lists and what you're looking forward to for 2015. Here's mine, and I'll keep it short and just list titles for Wii U. Number 5, from Richard, Hyrule Warriors. I was kind of hesitant about this game at first, but I tried the demo at Target, and after 5 minutes of trying it out, I had to play more. Number 4, Bayonetta 2. This is one of the best action games I've played in a while. Number 3, Super Smash Bros. For Wii U. What can I say about this game that hasn't been said already? It's a fantastic game, although I'm not sure if I like it more than Melee or not yet. The amiibo integration was cool, but I feel like they could have done a little more with it. Here, Richard. Number 2, Captain Toad Treasure Tracker. This was one of the funnest games I played this year. It had a fun charm to it, and I didn't mind playing all the courses a second, or in some cases a third or fourth, time to complete all the challenges. And his number one game, Richard's number one game of 2014 was, did you guess it? Mario Kart 8. By far my favorite Mario Kart game of the series. Great course design along with new and improved gameplay mechanics made the game stand above the rest. Also, the DLC made an already great game even better. But that's not all. Richard also has a top eShop game, one of Evan's and mine's favorite, Art of Balance. I've always said I would never double dip and purchase a game twice between Wii U and 3DS. Art of Balance changed all that. I purchased it on 3DS when it came out, and I wasn't going to get it for Wii U. But I downloaded the demo just for the heck of it, and after I finished the demo, I instantly downloaded the full version.
I better not download the demo, because I'm sure I'd probably do the same thing. I love Art of Balance.
Yeah, it is an excellent game, and hearing that, I totally feel like it's Pandora's box as well, but I'm going to definitely download the demo.
I'm sure it's nice seeing it in HD on the big screen and everything, and hearing that
awesome
lovely
music.
Yeah, just come out.
Jazz.
Gosh, I love that music. That's definitely up there with probably one of my favorite 3DS games, and it's such a good laying in bed to play game before you go to sleep. I mean, I guess you could get super frustrated, but that music and just kind of the zen-like mood of everything, it's fantastic.
Yeah, it's also a really great game when you only have, 30 seconds or a couple minutes of gameplay time, much like a smartphone game. You can just get in there and have some smooth, easygoing, balanced gameplay, and then potentially progress along the map, unlocking more. Yeah, it's great. But Richard has a little bit left in his email. As for 2015, here are the top 5 games I'm looking forward to. Number 5, Kirby and the Rainbow Curse. Number 4, Xenoblade Chronicles X. Implicitly, everybody, this means these are games he thinks that are really coming out in 2015. So
it is
Kirby, 4, Xenoblade, 3, Mario Maker, 2, Star Fox, and at the number 1 spot, Legend of Zelda for Wii U.
Fingers crossed.
Evan, what would you think if the Zelda game was named The Legend of Zelda for Wii U?
They can't do that.
You're not going there.
They just can't do that.
They can't. Wouldn't that be horrible? Yeah, there's no way they would do that. I'm just teasing about the horrible Smash Brothers.
I'm curious. I feel like it's... Do you think it'll be a 2-word subtitle? Skyward Sword? Or do you think it'll be like The Legend of Zelda? What? Phantom Hourglass? Wind Waker? Or do you think we'll have like a phrase, Link to the Past, a link between worlds?
Ooh, that's a really good little trivia question. I think they're going to totally do a 2-word.
Yeah.
They're going to focus on some object or character and make that, because it's got a punch to it. The Legend of Zelda, blah, blah. A, B, X, Y, 1, 2. Yeah, 2 words. Listeners, let us know what you think. Watchers, everybody in the audience. Comments time. Kisaki Project wrote, I share Evan's hatred of the ending of the Wonderful 101 ending. Yes, feel the hatred flow through you.
Thank you. I think he's the first person that's ever agreed with me on that.
You know what, Evan? You get a lot of agreement for a lot of other of your statements, so you don't need to add to the stockpile. Kisaki Project continues. Also, I think you should be introduced as Evan Grain of Salt Campbell from now on. Yes, I agree too. Salty Evan. That would work.
my cohort, Salty Evan Campbell.
And the ever salty Evan Campbell. Can you hear?
Sure, Salty, please.
All right, sorry, Kisaki Project. Continuing through your comment, I played through Captain Toad and loved it. Thought it was a better game than 3D World. The puzzles were really cool, and I played it trading off the controller with my girlfriend. I recommend playing this with a friend like that. Definitely with a few drinks and a friendly rivalry. That's a great idea, Kisaki Project, and I'm going to try to mandate that in my own home. He continues, I hope they make Amiibo. He wrote Amiibos. Oh, we got to trash this comment.
We need a siren sound. We need a siren sound effect for the Amiibo controversy.
It's totally okay, Kisaki Project. Don't worry about that. I hope they make Amiibo of Toad and Toadette. I will buy them on day one. I totally will too. They could do a set. They could do a twin pack of those two.
All about the twin packs.
I want twin packs. You know what is great in twin packs?
Noah Penny Saver. Noah 2-pack board.
You know, if I could get like a, what is it called? Like a Slim Jim twin pack, or I don't know. I love twin packs of all kinds. It's kind of making me hungry. Totally not even related to Amiibo. All right. Kisaki Project continues. I will buy it day one. The Toad and Toadette Amiibo. My only complaint is the game isn't a bit longer and harder at the end, but I think it's a must-have for any Wii owner. Must-have! Do you hear that, Toad non-believers? Must-have game. I don't have Toad back there. I have Pikachu and Froakie behind me this time in the video background, but maybe Toad will return next week. Nintendo Dude GCN. This is turning into total
Toad's in the doghouse. Totally got thrown off.
He's truthfully, he's in a dark closet along with all the other things that are not back there right now, including my Roy stuffed animal and the sweet little Samus Figma figure.
I meant to ask with your Mario Kart 8 when you won as Roy, did you like bust up the Roy plushie you have, or like, yeah, bow down?
Yeah, if I'd had it, I would have taken it in my hand and then like just shoved it in my friend's face, like, yeah, what about your Mario Kart 64 now? Roy says, Bzap. Or not. Nintendo Dude GCN wrote, I did a ton of gaming over my holiday break. I kind of got the Pikmin itch. You know what, Nintendo Dude GCN? That sounds like you should see the doctor. But Pikmin itch, so I went back and finished the amazing game that is Pikmin 3, and I also bought the DLC packs to try. You know what, Nintendo Dude GCN, I actually looked for that game over the holidays. I thought, Pikmin 3, you know, I would almost impulse purchase that game if it went on an even bigger sale price than it had. But it was not, so I did not. Anyways, this is more about Nintendo Dude GCN, I promise. In addition to that, I was about halfway to getting another 500 points in the Digital Deluxe promotion, so I decided to buy a few new digital titles before the promotion ended. Picked up Shovel Knight, excellent choice.
Yes.
Toki-Tori, Adventures of Lolo, and Mock Rider. I finished Shovel Knight and Adventures of Lolo. Both were fantastic games. Still working on Toki-Tori currently. Mock Rider is fun but insanely difficult, even with the VC save states. Kind of gave up on that one. Of course, I've also been spending a ton of time with Smash on Wii U. I've logged over 50 hours with the game now, and I also got a Kirby Amiibo too.
Awesome.
Oh, that's cool. I almost thought about bringing my Kirby toys home today, but not today. So now Toad and Kirby need to fight each other for my background space. Who will win, Evan?
I don't know. It'd be cool if Toad was a playable character in Smash, and then you could just have them duke it out in the game.
Oh, that would be so cool. That'd be
Maybe have Princess Peach fight for him. So have Peach first. Do you have Kirby? The Amiibo Kirby?
I don't. I've thought about getting Kirby because I do like Kirby.
So then you could have the Amiibo duke it out to decide who gets to come home. Mm-hmm. Or gets to come out of their dark, scary place. Sunlight.
Sonic Tonic wrote in, it's so nice to have you guys back. I wanted to chime in on the European Ambassador Edition, mentioned in our intro. New 3DS through their regions Club Nintendo. This company never ceases to surprise me with how they do things. Do they even have a release date for the regular system yet?
Nope.
The fact that... Peanut Gallery. The fact that Nintendo of America has been quiet as usual makes me wonder if we will even get the new 3DS here in the States this year. A limited edition or otherwise. Now, Evan and I have self-censored ourselves a number of times saying, "Oh, that's too cynical," but Sonic Tonic just went there all the way with that statement.
Bravo.
Yes, well done, well done. I think we are going to see the new 3DS here this year.
I wouldn't be surprised by the time this audio podcast goes out and you're listening that we already know the release date.
That seems to be our luck. It totally
Yeah.
happens. They're like, "Oh, they're done? Good. Let's put that, drop that little tidbit out there." A worse thought. Oh, wait, it gets better. Sonic Time. When we do eventually get the new system here, I am already having nightmares thinking about collecting the faceplates. We think the amiibo craze is bad, even though there will be likely less hype for faceplates. I have a feeling the ones we get will probably be very limited and hard to come by. What
That's
am I
a
supposed
great
to do?
point.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's a really great point because they're going to take up shelf space, and Nintendo can only get so much shelf space. So
Mhm.
I doubt there'll be like rows and rows. There'll probably be like one little thing they're put on. You'll have to look. Hopefully Amazon can come through there. Or yeah, it's a great point.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about faceplates selling out, but I didn't think too long about amiibo selling out, but that's completely logical. Hindsight 2020. I could definitely see certain faceplates. I wouldn't be surprised not as many are made of one versus the other, maybe due to cost or manufacturing issues or Nintendo's own marketing research saying, nobody's going to want this particular one. But I have a feeling that if Sonic Tonic and I were in a store at the same time and there only one left of the following faceplate, he mentioned that we would have a fight. Because he says, what am I supposed to do when I really want that gray felt faceplate, which is the one that I want, or one of the Animal Crossing ones, and can't find them anywhere? I guess I'll just sit at home and wallow in my misery with my super ultra rare villager amiibo at my side. Just rub it in about that villager amiibo. That's one that I wish that I'd gotten, but Evan, do you wish you had that one?
Nope.
All right. You know what would be cool? What if the villager amiibo had changeable faces?
That sounds terrifying.
Or
And
changeable heads. Kind of like the
Worse.
witch in the second Wizard of Oz movie.
Bruce, you're just feeding that nightmare fuel. Let's proceed.
Okay. Weston M. wrote, I have been playing the Ace Attorney trilogy, and boy, is it great looking with the reworked graphics. Evan, this is overdue homework for you, by
Yeah.
the way. The stories are as
More
great
homework.
as they've always been. The characters level. Don't get me wrong, I've got 2 Professor Layton games to finish. The characters are lovable as always, and 2 Phoenix Wright games. They're lovable as always, and the compilation.
And Captain Toad.
Shut up! The characters are lovable as always, and this compilation felt like a nice trip down memory lane for me. I just hope we continue getting these games outside of Japan. Regarding Amiibo, I think I'm beginning to recover from the rush as my purchases have slowed down significantly.
Sorry, I thought it said rash, and I was just like, everyone's got amiibo illnesses this week. Or I guess it was a Pikmin itch amiibo rash.
They've got itches and rashes and fevers. It's that time of year, I guess. Regarding Amiibo, I'm beginning to recover from the rush so my purchases have slowed down significantly. Over the holidays, I've gotten a hold of Luigi, Donkey Kong, Pikachu, and Marth. I'm just thankful my wallet is somehow still alive. I wonder if Weston actually purchased these via eBay or something else with that wallet comment. You'll have to let us know if you actually found them in the wild.
Don't even believe his story. I wonder where he got that Marth.
No, I believe that he got it. I'm just wondering, did he get it? Did he actually get it in a store, or did he have to get it on eBay from one of those vile resellers that just like hoover up all the cool amiibo and like,
That's a good
they're
Waluigi
entrepreneurial.
impersonation.
What?
That's a good Waluigi impersonation.
Yeah, you know who would totally hoard amiibo just to resell them on the gray market? Waluigi and Wario.
Yeah. They're
That'd be
awesome.
cool amiibo. Yeah. All right, Seventh Experiment wrote, it's great to see you guys again. Thank you. Thank you to everybody who says that. We really appreciate it. This holiday break, I spent a lot of time playing Pokemon Alpha Sapphire. It's great to be able to experience the game all over again with better graphics, and I'm looking forward to getting all 8 badges and challenges in the Elite Four. Other than Pokemon, I've also been playing a few indie games, such as Attack of the Friday Monsters. Yes!
Awesome.
So good. I've been waiting pretty much throughout all of 2014 to play this game, and I never bought it because I was waiting for a sale. Finally, the game went on sale a couple weeks ago. I did not finish the game yet, but so far I'm impressed with the visuals and can't wait to play more. Alongside Friday Monsters, I also picked up Weapons Shop de Hamas. I like that one too. OK, the Seventh Experiment. If you like that and you like the Zero Escape games, the Weapon Shop was one that I was thinking I should get that, but then it got these middling, waffling reviews, and I thought, do I want to add something to my unsurmountable game pile? But I have to think about that. Do you have Weapon Shop, Evan?
Mm-mm.
All
Nope.
right.
I still need to play. I bought on sale a long time ago, and it's just staring at me, shaming me on my 3DS. And it's just for a game. Maybe I'll do it after the fall. I'll play these kind of creepy games as the Starship Damry.
Yep, you and me both. I'm right there with you.
Yep.
All right, final comment. Let's see if I can get through it without a random tangent or comment. Probably unlikely. Old School 1990s wrote.
Starts off great.
I have been fighting. Yep, mission failed already. I have been fighting a wicked case of amoeboitis. It is. It's true, Evan. Everybody has some kind of illness.
You guys keep your germs to yourself. I'm a germaphobe over here. I need to be like washing my hands with Purell.
I had about 2 weeks off in December, so I had a lot of free time to track them all down. Did you get them in stores? Did you get them online? Now I need to know. I need everybody to verify where these amiibos came from. I have all 18 that are out now with doubles of Wave 2. He's Waluigiing this. I figured I would keep some in boxes and for the collector in me. I have everyone from Wave 3 pre-ordered, except for Rosalina and Luma, which I hope to get in store on release day from Target. Wow, you're living on the edge there, Old School 1990s. Feeling kind of lucky.
Well, I think Target was pre-ordering, like they did pre-orders in the middle of the night or something. The pre-ordering business with it's really wonky. So I think people are all like just have to go on release day and snatch them up.
Speaking of pre-orders that frustrate me, I was disappointed that I wasn't able to pre-order the Skull Kid figurine limited edition version of Majora's Mask on 3DS. That would have maybe get that game no matter what, because that is a really cool figurine.
And you have the Wind Waker statue, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it would
I
have went with that.
That
That was a bummer how quickly those went out too. I wasn't gonna get it, but I understand people's pain. The pre-orders were up for like less than an hour or whatever.
So, finishing up from Old School 1990s, my plan is to try to collect them all the amiibo, but wait, I'm going to go back. Do we see amiibos anywhere? We don't! Good job. Just amiiboitis. I'm looking out for Old Man Stouff. Old Man Stouff's the one that's on this. My plan is to try to collect them all, but if I miss one, I might give up. With so many characters for Smash, like, what? And then whatever other editions of amiibo that are planned, I do not see them restocking sold-out figures anytime soon. Unfortunately, I completely agree with you, Old School 1990s. It's a bummer. But that we actually are getting amiibo for every Smash character, I find that incredible just on its own. That's a major commitment from Nintendo, especially for some characters that are relatively obscure. I know that I'm going to be all over the Duck Hunt amiibo just because that's going to be super cool.
Yeah.
But that's it for the feedback. Thank you, everybody, for the great emails and the great comments, for enduring all of my interjections and tangents and questions and bad stories. If you would like to be a part of this melange, fear not. Evan is handling the feedback next week, and maybe he will do a more straight reading of them. And if you want Evan to handle your feedback, send in your comments to show@nfmagazine.com or leave us a comment over here on our channel, youtube.com/nfmagazine, or you could even tweet us. All of those work. We look forward to hearing from you. And now back to you, Evan.
Thank you so much, Noah, for that great job with the feedback. And thank you all out there for joining us on episode 49 of the NF Show Prediction Time. Don't forget to subscribe to us on YouTube, and there is also an NF Show playlist. As for iTunes, a few of the episodes are up, Noah. It's still kind of wonky over there, right?
Yeah, I think the solution that needed to be in place for at least things to work going forward is there. Whether that sorts out the previous episodes or not, I'm not sure. Fingers crossed. It will now have been like almost a month and a half, 2 months since we've been having issues. I hope this is now behind us. I hope
so. So hopefully iTunes listeners. But if you're just looking for the audio-only podcast, you can also download it directly from nfmagazine.com. finally, you can follow us 24/7 on Twitter. I am at Evan Campbell. Noah's at This Is Noah. And most importantly, NF Magazine is at Nintendo Force. You're going to want to stay up to date there for all the latest Kickstarter information. And remember, Year 3 subscriptions are on Kickstarter right now. You can go over there, pledge the tier you want to pledge to make sure you get your digital or print or both of those for Year 3 of NF Magazine. Once again, thank you so much for joining us. I hope you enjoyed our predictions in this supersized episode of the NF Show. And Noah, thanks for going through all of this with me. It was a pleasure as always.
Likewise, my good sir.
That's it for episode 49. We'll see you back here, same time, same day, on the NF Show. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye, everybody.